Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 10 here in season 3 of FRL. Only a few races to go, and this week we're racing here in the Bahrain at Sakir in the International Bahrain Circuit. This is a race that a lot of these drivers are excited for. I've already been told that it's going to be a very close race up front, so for everybody to be ready for some chaos. I don't think it can be more chaotic than what we just watched with the real F1 race. Talking about last race, though, NoTa coming out on top with Rolosky in P2, Mattey landing a podium in P3, Jack in P4, Dżej Dżej 5, Graxent in 6, Mattey in P7, BartheZ, the other McLaren, down in P8, SenTeX in P9, Ferrari having a strong showing. The penalties taking SenTeX from a P3 on track down to P9, Bartosz rounding out your top 10 last race. Your bottom 10, all still strong drives. Vixie, though, in the Mercedes, finishing in last place. Foxxxes in P18, his teammate. Pefixian in P19 after wrecking last week, but his teammate Rolosky still going very strong. Pefixian wrecking with only a few laps to go last race. Penalties being handed out all over the place, left, right, and center last week. So definitely was interesting to see. Going to be interesting to see what the drivers are able to do this week. Lots of great on-track battles last week in Portugal. A gorgeous track for racing. Speaking of gorgeous track for racing, it was a major shakeup in the Drivers' Championship. Jack dropping down and NoTa with his victory able to take a place off of Jack. So Red Bulls are now sitting P3 and P4. Rolosky, an 18-point gap to NoTa, though, which means if something crazy happens this race, NoTa could take over your championship lead with 2 races to go. Dżej Dżej and Mattey moving up in the Constructors' Championship. Sorry, the cat's trying to murder people. In the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull's still maintaining an 18-point gap on AlphaTauri. McLaren up into P3. Alpine and Mercedes swapping places down in 7th and 8th. Still a great time going on there. Again, Portugal, a gorgeous track. I do enjoy Bahrain, though, and this battle between Graxent and Dżej Dżej was the highlight of last race. 2 laps to go, 1 lap to go, and they were all over each other. Drivers this week, you have a full 20-driver grid here, and you are going to see all 20 drivers in place. It looks like they are all prepared and ready to go too. No reserve drivers this week. I am looking forward. I've gotten to run some practice tracks and watch some time trials from the Ferraris and from the Red Bulls, and I've gotten to see a little bit of the Haas team practicing. All strong drivers. I'm very interested to see what's going on. Looks like your starting time is going to be around a 126 for pole. 126 flat, 126.1 should be very interesting to watch. Definitely looking forward to watching NoTa and Rolosky, your top 2 in the championship, going against each other. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens there. Let's go ahead and jump in here where it looks like we're getting ready to kick off some qualifying here. All right, kicking off qualifying here. Let's see who's going to be the first person to jump in and get going. Looks like as far as tires go, looks like lots of drivers going to be looking to run some laps on softs. Looks like we do see some drivers who are going to opt out for mediums. Looks like first driver's going out on track here. It looks like Dżej Dżej, SenTeX being the first driver out on track currently. We'll jump on board with him, watch him warm up here really quick. SenTeX, a driver that I definitely think we need to watch here this weekend. Going to be a very, very strong driver. Bahrain, of course, a track that's ran at night. A very, very good-looking track to watch. Let's turn some audio on here so you can listen to the driver warm up. So it looks like about half the grid has decided they're going to go out early and kind of get things moving and going. We'll watch here how the drivers warm up. Looking at Pefixian here, he is going to be one to watch as well. Your championship leader's teammate, of course, so going to be something to watch out for, as AlphaTauri do need to try to get back around Red Bull here in the constructors, so they need a very, very strong weekend. Of course, Pefixian with 2 DNFs this season. Going to be interesting to see what he puts on here. Get the track map turned on so we can keep up with what's happening. All drivers except for 3 currently out on the track. So we'll jump here with SenTeX as he begins to start his lap. It looks like SenTeX and Dżej Dżej swapping out positions here going into the lap. Looking at tires, you can see that it looks like Wasserstein, Vixie, and Pefixian are out on the mediums. Everybody else doing their laps here on softs. SenTeX and Dżej Dżej coming around the second sector here, looking very strong so far. Lots of 28s being put into the first sector. It looks like Dżej Dżej putting in a 28 flat in the first sector and putting in a 37 in the second sector here, with his teammate right behind him. Very, very similar and competitive lap times coming out of all drivers currently. Dżej Dżej crosses the line, and he's going to be the first one to put in a time, a 1:27.001. Very good-looking lap time here from the driver, but Jack is going to come around with a 1:26.7. Very, very strong jump from him there. We're going to jump back around here, and we're going to tune in with TrueHERO, who it looks like is still coming around through the first sector. Looks like TrueHERO put in a 1:27.7. DEBE just put in a flying lap as well. Let's jump back here. DEBE putting in a very good time as well. We're going to jump back with Rolosky, who is on his outlap currently to put in his first time. Rolosky starting his lap out. Looks like he's looking very good coming through the sectors here. You can see he's just riding the curb coming through there, and then these turns he's just demanding the car go where he wants. Hits the curb there, and you can see he's going to cut through absolutely great on the apex coming out. Use all the curbing it going. Might have got a little loose there, but it looks like it doesn't affect him any. Coming around this curve, a little bit of a lockup, but he hits the apex well. It's not going to affect him. Come off and just full throttle DRS wide open all the way down this straight. This is sort of a first of 2 back straights, you could call it, coming around here, turn 12. If you watch the curb on the outside and you don't hit it just right, it can spin you around. These curbs are very brutal around this. 7th gear flat out coming through up the hill. Gonna brake, hit a little bit of an apex. He barely kept that in track limits coming around down this back stretch. No DRS on this straightaway, but However, he is going to be deploying all of his DRS coming through. Last corner. This is technically 2 corners, but the driver's treated as one coming around. Hit the apex well and then just ride the curb out. DRS open, and it's going to be flat up to the line. What time is Rolosky going to set in? He is going to put a banker time in. Or he's not, because his lap was invalidated. I thought we were about to see a very strong time there. It looks like it would have been a very strong time. Put him up in the top 6 at least. We'll stick with Rolosky here and see what he does on this lap as well. Championship leader, definitely going to be one to watch here this race. I know that this is a track that he does enjoy, so it should be interesting to see what he's able to put together. Purple in the second sector for Rolosky. Absolutely glorious going around. Sets a 28.9 in the first sector, so a little slow there. A 39 flat in the second sector, I believe. Looking very good going through, but he is going to box and abort that lap. So it looks like he may have just used that as a banker, and he's going to go out on the softs. You can see the McLaren of BartheZ or NoTa 1 coming out currently. Looks like both drivers are going to be coming out, and it looks like NoTa is going to be ahead of BartheZ here. NoTa, of course, chasing the championship, only 18 points down. He could take over the championship lead this race. So it'll be interesting to see what he's able to put together. You can see coming down the straightaway there is one of the Red Bulls. It looks like that might be the Red Bull of Jack coming through, going on an out lap. Jack currently up with a 126.7. I know in time trials a lot of these drivers were setting 126 flat. So it'll definitely be interesting to watch and kind of see what they're able to put together coming through here. Jack currently P3 in your Drivers' Championship, dropping back after NoTa's victory last week. So it'll be interesting to kind of watch and see what he is able to put together here. We're going to jump on board with TrueHERO, who is just starting his flying lap. We're going to keep our eyes on what he's able to put together. And you can see just how hard he hits the brakes. Second gear might have been a little wide of the apex, but that's going to set him up well here for turn 2 to come around. Opens up DRS as he gets over the line. Wide open, pushing very hard. You can see coming here into this next set of corners, he is going to be pushing very, very strong. Going through first sector, looking really good. It looks like the lobby might be bugging out because F1 2021 absolutely loves me. Looks like we might be getting a little bit of a desync issue. Not sure exactly what's going on there. But we'll stick here with TrueHERO, even though it says he's on an outlet, but he's absolutely flying. Let's see, we're going to kick over and see if we can fix this really quick. Alright, welcome back everybody. Let's see if this is able to fix up a little bit of our issues here. See where we're jumping on. It looks like while we were gone, Dżej Dżej put in a 126.5. It looks like lots of drivers getting some very, very strong times going through. Here you can see Mattey coming around middle sector. Looks like, according to what I've got, Mattey is on an outlap. Should be very interesting to see what he puts in. Let's see here. You can see the gaps very, very tight. Just a second splitting everybody from 1st through 14th. Lots of drivers lighting up the timing boards. It looks like Rolosky just put in a 37.0 coming through middle sector, 9/10 up. Currently, we'll see how he does going through the final sector. You can see he is wide open coming through. And what time is he going to put in? A 126.5. What a great lap from Rolosky there to put him up into provisional pole currently. You can see both McLarens are going in the box here. It looks like lots of drivers going through. You can see Bartosz is out on his outlap currently, so could be a driver to keep an eye on there. Bartosz currently sitting in P14 with a 127.4. Could be interesting to watch. You can see SenTeX is coming out, getting ready to run a lap. Ferrari going to be very strong to watch this week. 15 minutes left here in this qualifying session. Looks like some severe desync issues. Only 4 minutes left in quali, but for some reason our timer says 15. So about 4 minutes, and you can see SenTeX eating the barrier there on his outlap. Luckily for him, no damage. Looking through sector times here, it looks like there is going to have to be a lobby restart after this. We'll jump on with Vixie here. A driver we don't talk about a lot, but a driver that's very strong when he can shine. Currently on his outlap, you can see first corner, he might have been a little bit wide of the apex, but it seems like that's what most of these drivers want to do, because it sets them up well for the second corner to fly through here. Great look, a little bit of sliding from the front end. Looks like he has a little bit of understeer, but it looks like he's commanding the car to do what he wants, even with that little bit of understeer coming around there. You can see just going through very strong. Vixie looking great coming here onto the back stretch. Absolutely slinging his car around. Coming through the final corner, you can see he nails the curb well. Gets nice and wide coming through DRS open. Well, it's going to be the time from Vixie. He's going to not improve, it looks like, and put in a 120. Lots of major desync issues because, of course, the F1 2021 game is the best game ever made. could be no wrong done in this game. Could there? EA, Codemasters, I'm looking at you here. We'll jump on with DEBE in 11th place. And I don't know if this is actually DEBE or if it's an AI, but we're going to enjoy the lap. Looks like DEBE parking up there, potentially preparing for the lobby restart. You can see Rolosky setting a purple first sector, though, going through. We're going to keep our eyes on and see exactly what he's able to do. So it looks like a 27.844 is going to be his first sector. 37.0 in the second sector is currently the best time set. And, of course, Rolosky set that as well. So we're going to keep our eyes and see if he's able to improve on that. Looks like some of the final laps starting to go in here. We're going to keep our eyes on Rolosky. Middle coming through. Looks like the McLarens are going to be on their final laps here. Keep our eyes on what they can do. It looks like BartheZ is going to get himself into P3. NoTa's going to be in 8th place. Locked in here. Rolosky, your championship leader, coming around. What position is he going to have? He is going to lock himself into provisional pole. Sets it a 126.2. SenTeX is going to jump into second with a 126.4. Dżej Dżej is still out on a lap, though. Final time coming around. What is he going to be able to set in? He is going to get a 126.6. That's going to lock him into 3rd place here. It looks like the Red Bulls are still coming around, though. Graxent in 6th place is coming around the final corner. What is he going to be able to set up? Can he improve any on the time? It looks like he cannot. He is boxing. That is all he can do. And you can see it looks like Mattey is coming around here. You still have Pefixian in 6th place. I believe this is it that we are seeing. Even though it says 9 minutes left, I do see the checkered flag falling. So it looks like we are going to reset this lobby here due to desync issues, and then we will kick into the race. I'm going to leave you with the intro one more time while we set all of this up. You know, after the F1 race today that ran, I'm really not surprised with the way this is going because this whole thing has been an absolute shite show. So, depending on if you're a Max or a Lewis fan, really depends on, you know, what your opinion is of the race, I guess. So, but especially with what's going on here in FRL, I think today would have been a good day to just say goodbye F1. 2 more races left in the FRL season, though. Have to be very excited about that. Round 11, which is going to be Azerbaijan, and then round 12, which is Abu Dhabi. So round 12 is going to be one that I'm personally very excited for. I'm very interested to see what the teams are able to put together coming through there. I'm not talking about what's in the background. If you're just now joining us, we're having to reset the lobby due to some severe desync issues. So stand by to see what happens with that. Looks like everything is starting to get going here. Joining back in. I'm still going to leave you back until we're able to get the race up and going. So, looking at this battle here with Graxent, I am actually going to cue this video up and just let you all enjoy it in its entirety. While we wait on everybody to get in, let me leave you with a highlight from last week. This happened. Dżej Dżej is neck and neck here with Graxent, who's going to get the better drive down the straightaway. It looks like Graxent may have gotten a little bit better of an exit coming through the corner, and it looks like Graxent is going to hold on. Dżej Dżej is going to slot him behind, but is he going to try to dive it up the inside here into the first corner? He is not. It looks like he may have bumped him on the rear. Dżej Dżej trying everything, only a 10th off of Graxent. He is putting so much pressure on this Red Bull driver. He is trying to get back up into 4th place here to be right behind his teammate. He's going to go around the inside here. He's going to try to be a last and late breaker, and it looks like Graxent's going to try to shut the door, but doesn't make it happen. Dżej Dżej not getting as great of a corner exit, though, but better than Graxent, so that means he's going to get up into place. We have a yellow flag in Sector 1. It looks like that may just be for a slow Mercedes there. Glorious battle between Dżej Dżej and Graxent last week. I'm going to leave you with a time trial battle while we're waiting time trial lap provided by Jack while we're waiting on everything to get going. And as soon as it does, I'll bring you into the action. All right, I think we're getting going here. Game of the year. Absolutely game of the year. Waiting on everybody to get kicked in, and then we'll get going here with the laps. We'll see exactly how everything stacks up. Now, of course, the qualifying results from last lobby do still stand for this lobby. So that means what we should be looking at here is a Rolosky, SenTeX, Dżej Dżej, top 3. See here. We'll give it just another minute to get going. All in all, should be a fun time. Very fun time. Apologies for kind of the issues in the beginning here. Unfortunately, whenever you're running a online league, sometimes these are the things that come up. And the good thing is that the league has plenty of contingencies in place in order to ensure that there are no crazy issues going through. So that helps us keep up with everything that's happening and make sure that we can put on the best race and the most fair league racing that's possible. So, with that being said, let's jump in here. We're going to have a formation lap. Medium to hards, if you're not familiar with Bahrain, very, very low tire wear. So medium to hards predicted. You could run a 2-stop, but I predict a lot of drivers won't. So looking at what we have here, we have Rolosky on SenTeX, on Mattey, on Dżej Dżej, on BartheZ, on Pefixian, on Graxent, on Jack, on NoTa, on Wasserschwein. Then you have Crazy Boy coming through, TrueHERO, DEBE, Mattey, Vixie, 80 Gamer, Bartosz. P18 is going to be Insidious, Luo, and then Owski is going to round out your grid here. Let's talk about Rolosky for a second here. Championship leader, going to be very hard to beat coming off pole. He is going to absolutely fly through. Your tire choice as it stands currently, you are looking at top 10, all on softs as required. That's what they qualified on. P11, Crazy Boy is going to be on softs as well. Then you have a lot of split strategy in the back. TrueHERO on the mediums and P12 could be a very, very strategic plan from him. 13 is going to be DEBE on the hards. Mattey's opting for hards. Vixie and Gamer on mediums. Insidious on mediums. Bartosz and Owski going on softs, and Luo going to go on hards. Should be very interesting to see what they put together here. And through the backstretch, you can see the drivers absolutely swerving around to warm up the tires. I'm not sure what the Haas was doing there. Very interesting to see. It looks like Graxent's been pulled from the formation lap. We'll kind of set up here. Rolosky bringing the field in. See everybody starting to sink through. Rolosky going to be setting up your grid here. You can see everybody forming up right behind him. And we're going to jump on with SenTeX to follow up this race start. See the rear of the grid coming up. It looks like Owski is taking his grid place. And all the drivers are in position. Alright, and it is gonna be 5 red lights. And it's going to be lights out, and away we go here for the Grand Prix. And it looks like Rolosky does not get a good start. SenTeX may have got a little bit better of a start. You can see Mattey and Dżej Dżej back in the back fighting. You can see lots of chaos moving around, drivers moving around. But it looks like Rolosky is going to hold on the lead. SenTeX might get a little better of a jump here, though, coming around. And it looks like he doesn't. Rolosky's going to get away very, very well. Mattey and P3 getting away. Where is Dżej Dżej, though? Dżej Dżej is right up his tail. You can see in the midfield there's some good chaos going on. And it looks like going through, it looks like Crazy Boy back in 9th place is going to be having a hard time. It looks like the McLaren's going to get around in them as well. Crazy Boy going to be falling down in P10 after all of this going. But it looks like Rolosky maintaining the lead after his start. BartheZ dropping down 2 places, back in 7th place. Absolute carnage. It looks like Jack is getting around BartheZ as well. 3 places down. It looks like the McLarens are very close to each other here. Going through strong race here in the beginning. SenTeX in 2nd place, going to be trying to chase down Rolosky to get going here. And you can see Rolosky just commanding his car to do what he wants here while we watch from SenTeX. Mattey a half second behind, though, going to be one to watch out for. SenTeX is going to need to build that gap early. He's going to need his teammate to get around Mattey there in order to give Ferrari the strategy they need to try to beat out Rolosky. Pefixian back in P5 needs to move his way forward here around Dżej Dżej. Is he going to try to do a late break jab? He is not, but he is going to have the slipstream coming through into this main straight to try to get around and get going. And we have 1 lap completed so far. Absolute great racing coming around. You can see Pefixian trying to dive it there on Dżej Dżej. Looks like they may have touched, and it looks like he's going to try to give him the big squeeze coming through. They did make contact coming through, and it looks like that is going to send Dżej Dżej around. Dżej Dżej absolutely losing out, and he is going to be furious about what just happened there. Mattey going to be very thankful to see that go through, but he's going to be very unhappy when he realizes it's the AlphaTauri of Pefixian that's right up behind him. Meanwhile, Rolosky already building up that 1.1 second gap going through. Wasserschwein falling down here as well, down into P12 now. Looking some very, very close battles already on this track. All of the drivers said they felt very comfortable and that this was going to be a very close race for them. Definitely not surprised to see it. We'll jump on board here with Jack up in 5th place with his teammate Graxent right behind him in P6. Jack, of course, dropped down to P3 in the Drivers' Championship after last week, after a less than stellar finish coming from him. So it's going to be very interesting to see what he can put together. You can see him coming down this backstretch. He is pushing his ERS out, trying to make up a little bit of a gap on Pefixian. If he can get past Pefixian and pull his teammate along with him, that is going to be very important for him in both the drivers and constructors for Red Bull. However, Rolosky is wasting no time trying to get away. Coming through. Looks like only about a half second coming through. DRS is going to be enabled this lap, so he'll have DRS after these first few corners. We'll see if he's going to be able to make up any sort of a gap on Pefixian. Coming through, and you can see he's going to open up DRS right away. We'll see if he can gain. He's got about half a second there, and he's not close enough to make the gap happen, only gaining about a 1/10 coming through that corner. Rolosky, though, running away. 1.2 second gap built up. He is just flying, and you can see SenTeX right there behind him with absolutely no answer currently in the Ferrari. Mattey in P3 attempting to gain a little bit. You can see by sector times there is a little bit of an even match there. Rolosky and SenTeX are matching each other in the first sector, but the second sector, Rolosky is 2/10 quicker going through that sector alone. So that is where he's building up his time. That is where SenTeX is going to have to put something together, come through the second sector. We'll see how he goes through. We have a yellow flag in sector 1. Looks like that is going to be for the Ferrari of Dżej Dżej. Going through, he has another spin in the first couple of corners. He's back underway. Insidious in 19th having a spin there in the middle sector. He is back underway as well, though. No answers coming through for those drivers. However, we are going to jump on with Graxent here, who is only 3/10 off of his teammate and is sticking right behind. We can watch and see Jack is getting a little bit closer, only half a second off Pefixian. He is going to have the advantage here of DRS coming through this straight, but we'll see what he's able to put together coming through. Gaining a little bit more, and he is right on the rear end. Is he going to be able to make anything happen? Pefixian gets a little bit better of an exit coming through, so it doesn't look like he's going to be able to take advantage of anything this lap, but you can see Jack is right on the rear here of the AlphaTauri, and he is trying so hard to make this pass happen. It looks like patience might be his friend. Of course, you do have all of these drivers still on soft compound tires, and it looks like as far as tire dead goes, all of them are still sitting around 30% wear after only 4 laps. VSC has been deployed after it looks like a spin there for the Aston Martin of DEBE. spinning coming through, deploying the VSC. His front wing completely gone. And that is not going to be what Rolosky wanted to see. That is absolutely what SenTeX wanted to see coming through. It looks like that is going to give SenTeX and Mattey an opportunity to try to get going here. The Red Bulls are really needing to push, though, back in 5th and 6th. McLaren's, of course, in 7th and 8th, though. They want to get around the Red Bulls as well, because NoTa wants to try to build on Rolosky and try to see if he can get a gap going in the Drivers' Championship and see if he can build anything up. And we are back underway here. That was a very short VSC, and it looks like DRS right back underway, which means Mattey's going to get DRS coming down this straight. Only half a second off of SenTeX. Can he make anything happen going down this front straightaway? He is gaining, he is gaining, he is gaining. Is he going to try? Oh, he thought about going up the inside, decided against it. Looks like he may just try to set himself up with a better exit coming here through turn 2 and 2-3. And it looks like he is a little closer. He is only 4/10 off. Jack finally getting past Pefixian. We missed that battle. It looks like they are not done with each other, though. They are right against each other. Jack defending hard, and it looks like you can see Graxent is NoTa are battling it out here as well. Right beside each other coming through. And it looks like they are going to squeeze. They are going to squeeze. They are going to squeeze. Oh, and it looks like they pushed each other wide, but it looks like NoTa is trying to get past Graxent. Graxent is trying to hold on with all of his might there in 7th place. Looks like NoTa able to get the pass done, though, and he's going to start building out a little bit of a lead. But Pefixian not able to defend Jack is going to be scary for Rolosky. We're going to jump on board with Mattey, who is right all over the rear wing of SenTeX. Only 3/10 separating them going here into turn 12. Going up the hill, and you can see Mattey getting a little bit better of a run than SenTeX coming up the hill here. A little bit better control of his car. Hits the apex very well, but it looks like SenTeX may just get a little bit better of a run here going down the back straight. You can see he is pushing, slipstream, 2/10 off. What is he going to be able to do going down this main straight? And Wasserschwein has spun. He is going to DNF, and that is surely going to be a safety car coming out. And you can see Rolosky thought about pitting. Virtual safety car. SenTeX is going to dive it right in with no hesitation coming through. And you can see drivers behind him as well. Both McLaren's going to take advantage and come in. Graxent taking advantage and coming in as well. And it looks like Crazy Boy is going to come in as well. We'll see how this plays out for these drivers. Rolosky gambling and thought he was going to pit. It looks like he decided against it. We'll see how this spells out for him. VSC here on lap 6. Just look at the lap time difference, though, coming through. 132s in the midfield versus a 129.8 for Rolosky. 130s being set for 2nd and 3rd place. Jack in P3 currently on his softs. You can look 5-lap-old softs. You can see Graxent back pitting. I wonder if Red Bull put a strategy call here. They're going to pit Graxent to try to get the undercut coming on the leaders. I will tell you, if I was Jack, seeing Pefixian right there behind me would probably scare me. But it looks like Owski picking up a drive-through penalty for speeding under VSC. We are back underway, though, and we're going to stick around here with Jack and see how this plays out for him. 2-second gap for Rolosky on Mattey, but Jack has about a second to make up on Mattey. Pefixian 7/10 behind coming through. Looking around here, AD Gamer 2/10 off of TrueHERO. Looking through, we're going to see, can they make anything happen coming through? DRS is open. However, it does not look like Jack is going to be able to close anything. Pefixian's not able to close anything as well. 7/10 separating them. Half a second now for Jack and Mattey. You can see how hard the Red Bull driver is trying to make something happen. It looks like Bartosz and Vixie are absolutely duking it out, though, going into the first corner. Bartosz going to try a little bit of a switchback here. Vixie not getting as great of a corner exit. Bartosz goes off the track to try to make that pass happen. He is right against here Vixie. Vixie is going to try to hold on to it, but I don't think Vixie can. Vixie trying to break a little bit later, stick around the outside. Is he going to be able to make it happen? And they're going to squeeze each other very hard coming through. That is going to be an absolute discussion going through. I'm sure Vixie is raging with how that just went down. However, Bartosz gets through, and that is a 3-second penalty for Bartosz, it looks like, for the contact he made with Vixie. Absolutely crazy. Back in the backfield, Insidious and Dżej Dżej are currently duking it out here, coming through that same series of first few corners, and it looks like Insidious is going to be able to take advantage of it. Jump back up here with your leaders, though. Jack in P3, a half-second gap that he is trying to make up on Mattey, and you can see he is trying so hard. Now down to 4/10. He has the straight line speed to try to get around Mattey, but it looks like Mattey is getting a little bit better corner exit here. The Jack gap down to 0.39 seconds. Can he make anything happen? Down into 3/10. Yellow flag, it looks like, for one of the McLaren spinning out. That was probably NoTa, but we're going to stick on board here as Jack is able to squeeze it around Mattey going into the first corner. Absolutely no problem coming through. Absolute great pass coming there from Jack. However, Mattey is now only 2/10 back coming to the next DRS zone. Is he going to try to fight him out coming through? It looks like he's going to dive around the inside, and he is going to take the position back. The Jack's going to break a little bit later and try to hold on to it, but it looks like he's not going to be able to, which means that Mattey is going to hold on to his second place for another lap unless Jack can make something else happen coming through. What an absolutely impressive drive these drivers are putting on. Some absolutely competitive squabbles going on here for the podium places. Jack knows how important it is for him to finish in a high place to try to beat out NoTa. Of course, Jack has not pit yet. He is on 7 laps of tires. It looks like none of your front 9 have pit yet. SenTeX in P10 is the first driver that is pitted currently. So as far as pit strategy goes, it looks like the soft drivers are going to try to stretch it out, try to go on a hards, and it looks like TrueHERO putting in a 29 flat in the first sector. Absolutely flying going around. We're going to stick with him for a second because he is trying to build that gap on 80 Gamer and Mattey very hard. It looks like he's doing very well to catch up. We're going to jump up here in third place, though. Jack only 4/10 off. Looks like Mattey is going to decide to pit here, which is going to be interesting to see. So that is going to free up Jack. He has a 3-second gap to make here. So it's going to be very interesting to see exactly what goes through with him. Of course, it looks like Owski has DNF'd here, wrecking in the first sector. Looks like cutting the curve going off, and it looks like going into that right-hand barrier. Of course, the scene where Roman Grosjean had a very scary crash. More drivers into the pits currently. It looks like that is going to be Mattey that goes into the pits. It looks like we're going to have Pefixian into the pits as well, and Bartosz into the pits. Looks like Pefixian opting for a set of mediums. Bartosz is going to be opting for a set of mediums as well. It looks like Mattey going onto a set of hards to finish out this race. Jack, though, after being freed up from his fight there with Mattey and Mattey, I can't remember which one it was now. I believe it was Mattey that he was battling. He has been freed up, and he has already cut out nearly half a second in just a lap. So it'll be interesting to kind of stick with him and see what's going on. It looks like back here, Mattey in P6, only about a second off, and SenTeX only about a second from behind him. We'll see what he's able to put together coming through here and see if he's able to make anything happen. Looks like the race is starting to stabilize down a little bit here after 9 laps. Only about a second gap separating everybody. SenTeX now only half a second off of Mattey, so it'll be interesting to see exactly what he's able to put together here. Coming down the stretch, DRS open, as you can see. It looks like he's going to be gaining. Mattey's only 4/10 off there, and it looks like there's a car coming out, though. That is Rolosky coming out of the pits. That is going to make absolute chaos for these drivers. 80 Gamer is able to squeeze around Rolosky, and that is Rolosky's going to take his place back, and that is going to be detrimental to the race if Rolosky wasn't able to hold on, but it looks like Rolosky was able to hold, but it looks like the Haas there is going to try to squeeze around. We're going to jump back on with SenTeX, though, who is all over the rear wing of Mattey, trying to get around him there. Oh, and you can see Mattey gets a little loose there, and SenTeX almost runs into the rear end of him like his name was Lewis Hamilton, but he's able to keep out and not hit the back of that driver, and they are able to continue going, and it looks like some penalties starting to be handed out. Going around Mattey, only 7/10 off at SenTeX, only 3/10 off of Mattey. And you can see Mattey is only about 7 tenths behind there. DRS, he was not able to make that pass happen with the help of DRS. Oh, going through, looking further back down the field there. And P13 Pefixian is only 3 tenths off of NoTa. We'll jump back here in just a second. But you can see that SenTeX is going to bump into the back of Mattey, and that is going to be detrimental for the Ferrari driver's race. Oh no, he was pushing so hard. Looks like he just wasn't able to brake late enough. But we're going to jump back here now with Pefixian, who is putting so much pressure on the McLaren drivers. He is trying so hard to squeeze around them and make something happen. And it looks like they are both going to go defensive here going in the final corner. Great exit here from Pefixian. He is going to have the advantage of DRS, but so is NoTa off of his teammate BartheZ. It's going to open up an opportunity to defend. NoTa is going to dive so deep down the inside, and it looks like that's going to open up the middle there, and it looks like Pefixian is going to move very late under braking, try to go around the inside. Looks like NoTa is going to be trying to shut the door. They bump wheels again, and you can see right here, NoTa is going to squeeze them off the track coming through, and that is going to mean Pefixian cannot get the pass done. That is some dirty racing, but it is what NoTa has to do to survive. Trying to eat in the gap there of AlphaTauri's drivers and constructor championship lead. Meanwhile, you have Rolosky, who is up into P2, which is basically going to be pole position for him, as Rolosky is on fresh tires, and you can see that NoTa loses it and is going to go off the track there, and that is going to be so detrimental for his race. That is going to leave his teammate alone out there, and that is going to be a DNF for NoTa. Meanwhile, you have Rolosky up in second place, who is closing the gap patiently on Vixie. Vixie on 10-lap old medium tires. Rolosky on a fresh set of mediums. This is going to spell disaster for NoTa's race and NoTa's opportunity here in the championship. Jack only a tenth of a second off, but Rolosky is only a tenth of a second here off of Vixie. He is going to get the pass done going down the main straight. We're going to jump back here with Jack, who is only a tenth off of Mattey, trying to get this pass done. You can see Mattey is harvesting his ERS. He's going to move over. He knows where his fight is, and it is not with him. Mattey up in front, going to get past AD Gamer as well. Rolosky back up in the lead. Jack moving up to P6. Mattey up into 4th place. Yellow's flag in Sector 3. It looks like that is going to be for Insidious, who has spun, and he is going to be out of the race. Pefixian finally getting past BartheZ there, and it looks like that means he is going to be up into P11. Coming down, but I would expect for BartheZ to be going around, and we have a safety car deployed due to Insidious's crash. That is going to be your first safety car here in FRL on lap 12. So just catching up, you have Rolosky in first place. You've got Vixie in P2, TrueHERO in P3. Both Vixie and TrueHERO have not pit yet, though. 4th place, you have Mattey, who has pit, and he is on a set of hard tires to finish the race. 80 Gamer in P5, who still has not pit, and he is on 11 lap old mediums. Jack on a fresh set of mediums here. Mattey on a set of hards. Dżej Dżej, or no, sorry, Crazy Boy in P8, who is on a set of mediums. SenTeX in P9. Number 10 is Luo, Pefixian in 11. Looks like coming through. Lap 12 of your FRL League race. And some absolutely great battles going through, some chaos happening. And we're going to see exactly what happens as they come around the corner. Who is going to decide to pit and who is not. I would imagine a lot of these drivers, and you can see Vixie diving in here. We'll see who else decides to dive in with him. TrueHERO, of course, going to dive in. Looks like lots of the field is going to be brought in. You can see AD Gamer coming in as well. Mattey staying out. Jack staying out. Lots of pit stop chaos happening right now. So we'll see what happens here in the pits. You can see all of the teams are ready, and it looks like lots of drivers opting for medium or hard compound tires to try to finish out their race. Mainly hard compounds, but I do see a couple of gamblers going for mediums to try to finish it out. Bahrain does have a high tire wear. High amounts of tire deg. Rolosky already has about 10% wear on his tires in only 2 laps on a set of mediums, so he is going to have to play some major conservation to try to get his tires to last to the end. But we are on lap 13 of this FRL race, and we have safety car deployed. Got 14 here of 29 here at this Bahrain Grand Prix in FRL Season 3, Round 9. 2 more races to go this season. It looks like Abu Dhabi, and then Abu Dhabi is going to be your final race. Azerbaijan is going to be the next round. Last winner of Bahrain was Nano, who is not racing this season, so could be anyone's game here looking through. Looking at gaps here in Drivers' Championship. Rolosky in first place, NoTa in P2, Jack in P3 in the Drivers' Championship. It looks like if they finish the way they did now, Jack would go back up in the second place. Rolosky would still maintain a gap, but Jack could bring that gap down. Only 22-point gap between him and Rolosky as it stands, not counting this race. So if you look at the championship standing, that would put Jack within striking distance, meaning if he could top Rolosky in the final 2 races, Jack could still have your Drivers' Championship victory. It is Rolosky's championship to lose, but he could still lose it going through. Mattey, currently P5, he is going to be looking to beat out Graxent and potentially NoTa here to try to go through in the Drivers' Championship, looking for his first victory of the season. Highest finish, P3 in Singapore. His first podium in Singapore as well. His first podium with FRL. So going to be very interesting to see how Mattey performs in this race and see what he can put together here. Coming up the hill. This hill is very dangerous for these drivers. So one little error and it could be over for them. And it looks like safety car is going to be in this lap, which means that Rolosky is going to take over control of the pack. And if I was Rolosky, I wouldn't be worried so much about Mattey. I'd be worried about the jump that Jack is going to get there in the Red Bull. Jack, an extremely strong driver. I would be worried if I was him, because if Mattey has any sort of issues, and it looks like we've had a major get-together there in the midfield, with a lot of 5-second penalties being handed out. But Rolosky has control of the field, and he is waiting right there at the line. He is going to be getting going underway. And it looks like a lot of drivers were not prepared for that. Pefixian is going to crash out, and that is going to be his teammate gone. And that is a severe wreck here in the backfield, and that is going to be taking out Graxent as well. What a severe crash that just happened back in the backfield. Wow. Surely that is going to be another safety car deployed. What just happened? Jack here in P3, only 3/10 off of the leader. And I believe that is another safety car deployed. Oh, no, they are still going. The intervals are just broken. Going around, it looks like coming up the hill here. Jack is going to be trying so hard to get past Mattey. You can see the gap is so close. Is he going to be able to get something better going around these final couple of corners? It looks like he may be able to. Only about a 1/10 of a second. Is he going to be able to make this happen here going down the straightaway? It looks like he might be able to. Oh, and he gets a little bit better of an exit there. And it looks like he's able to make that happen. However, let's ride on board here with Mattey. Mattey is all over the back. Oh, and there goes Crazy Boy down the inside. A little bit of a switchback there. Crazy Boy is going to try to hold on in the Haas, and it looks like Mattey is going to be right up against him, though. Is he going to be able to make this happen? Oh, and it looks like he's going to have the help of DRS, and he's going to squeeze right past him there. Actually, DRS not enabled. A little bit of contact there. Crazy Boy's all over Mattey. They push each other way off the track, and that is going to open up for SenTeX to try to get around as well. SenTeX is watching this in glee, as it may open up and mean that he is able to get around the outside here. Absolute carnage going around, but now this opens up for a great battle between Jack and Rolosky to take place, as they are chasing each other down now. 1.2 second the gap that Jack has to make up there. You can see as far as gaps go back in the back, everybody only about half a second off. BartheZ is only 3/10 off of SenTeX. You can see just how close that gap actually is as he's coming through the uphill section here at Bahrain, and he is going to try to make something happen going into the back straight. 4/10 off for Crazy Boy from Mattey. You can see lots of great battles coming through. It looks like Crazy Boy is going to think about having a peek, but he's decided not to. They're coming through. Up here, Jack a 1.3 second gap, and it looks like Crazy Boy half a second gap. Of course, no DRS after safety car, even though I said there was DRS earlier, because your commentator doesn't know how to think. And coming through, Crazy Boy 4/10, half a second gap. He is trying so hard. Great use of the curb coming through there. He is trying to push as hard as he can coming around. You can see just coming down through. About 6/10 of a second to make up. He's a little bit slower in the straights than Mattey. However, Mattey has great race pace coming through the curves. It looks like Dżej Dżej and Vixie back in the back are battling each other, and it looks like Dżej Dżej is going to take advantage of that and be able to get around Vixie. However, Vixie showing some significantly strong pace coming through the middle sectors. Going to see if he's able to put anything into place and make that happen. We'll keep our eyes on that. Meanwhile, we're going to jump up here in P8. Bartosz half a second off of AD Gamer, who is only half a second off. Meanwhile, let's jump on with SenTeX, who's only about a 10th off of Crazy Boy. Down to 2/10 now coming through. Is he going to be able to pull this pass off here? And it looks like he gets a little bit loose going up the uphill section. Kept it together, but that is going to open that gap up back to about 4/10 of a second. Going onto the back stretch. A little bit better of a corner exit. And that gap is going to open up to around 4/10. Crazy Boy braking a little bit earlier. Oh, a little bit of lag. That was a little scary to see. SenTeX is going to get around him, though, and get the pass done. It looks like that's going to open up SenTeX into 4th place. A little bit of a weird pass to make happen there with some desync, but he made it happen. BartheZ now trying to look to get around Crazy Boy as well. BartheZ thought about a peek up inside, but he's just too far back to make the move happen. The gap Rolosky has on Jack is now up to 2 seconds, with around a 3-second gap between Mattey and Jack. These drivers are trying hard. Lap 18 of 29, only around 11 laps to go, so this is very interesting. Dżej Dżej about 3.5 there off of TrueHERO, trying so hard to go through, and it looks like TrueHERO had a little bit weaker of an exit here going on to what is the back straight, but not the back straight. On the uphill section, he's going to run a little bit wider than Dżej Dżej. Dżej Dżej keeping in the throttle, just flat through here, 7th gear. And he's going to get a little bit more on the apex. A little bit slower, though, coming off. He's slower to get on the throttle than TrueHERO is, it looks like. TrueHERO harvesting his ERS. Is he going to deploy it all down this main straight? He is, of course, going to have DRS off of Mattey. So I believe he's going to deploy all his ERS and DRS to try to get past Dżej Dżej. Or try to keep Dżej Dżej behind. Dżej Dżej doing the same, though, and it looks like he is going to get around. And it looks like that is going to be what Dżej Dżej needs to get into the points-paying places. Jumping back up with BartheZ here in 5th place, who is around 7/10 behind SenTeX. Dżej Dżej's teammate in the other Ferrari, slowly gaining, consistently putting in great laps. However, he is not being able to make this happen. Looking around through some different lap times. Rolosky, a dominating lead right now with a 1:30.312 his last lap. Looking at lap times, Mattey in P3 putting in a 1:31.3. SenTeX putting in a 1:30.8. And then BartheZ in P5 putting in a 1:31.5. So it looks like SenTeX in the Ferrari is going to have a very strong chance of getting past Mattey and getting on the podium. Gap just over a second for SenTeX to try to get past Mattey. And it looks like he may be able to do it within the next 3 laps. 5 DNF. Sorry, 6 DNFs currently in this race with 9 laps to go. Graxent, Pefixian, Insidious, NoTa, Rolosky, and Wasserschwein all DNFing in this race. But meanwhile, you have some very strong battles happening on track. We're going to jump on with 10th place here. Dżej Dżej, who is only 2 tenths off of Mattey. He's trying so hard behind him. You have Vixie and TrueHERO who are battling it out. And you can see it looks like Vixie's going to get the better of DEBE and TrueHERO and get around and keep going. But we're going to jump on with Crazy Boy, who is a 10th off of BartheZ and is going to possibly get the McLaren driver coming through here. Looking back through, it looks like BartheZ is able to hold on to that, but just barely. SenTeX only 8 tenths off of Mattey here. Coming into the back straight, and it looks like SenTeX DRS open. About a second gap coming through, 9 laps to go. If SenTeX can get a couple of good corner exits, he may be able to make this happen. Looks like he's a little bit slow going into the uphill section. Through, and BartheZ is having to defend for his life. Mattey is going to be out after a crash going through. And it looks like that is going to be very bad for the Alpine drivers. Jump back up here with 80 Gamer, who is trying to keep up with his teammate Crazy Boy and trying to keep Bartosz behind him. And you can see Bartosz so close to hitting the rear end, but doesn't. So he switches it up a little bit, goes for a tighter entry, better exit. And he's going to be right behind 80 Gamer as he tries to go through. Not able to get the pass done. BartheZ in P5 trying very hard to keep the Haas drivers behind him. And it looks like he's doing an excellent job building up a strong gap there going into the second sector in the first half of the second sector. Very strong racing from him. Bartosz down in P8, only 3.5 tenths off of 80 Gamer. Looks like 80 Gamer might have had a little bit of an error, which is going to open it up for Bartosz. Bartosz only about 2 tenths off. Can he make anything happen in the uphill section? It looks like 80 Gamer might get a little bit better of an exit here. Dżej Dżej is only 2.5 tenths off of Bartosz as well. But it looks like Bartosz getting a little bit weaker uphill section, which is going to open it up for Dżej Dżej here, who is going to be on the attack going down this back straight and main straight. 3 tenths off, 2.5 tenths off. Oh, trying to use slipstream but not able to make it happen. But he is going to have the advantage. You can see he is so gentle on the throttle, but he's able to get a little bit better of an exit. Both Hatch drivers looking at pitting. It looks like there's miscommunication there. Crazy Boy and 80 Gamer not. That's going to slow 80 Gamer way down coming through here. And it looks like Bartosz is going to try to dive up the inside. Can Bartosz make this happen? Can Dżej Dżej take advantage of it? Bartosz. Oh, it looks like Dżej Dżej gets loose and he is going to slam into Bartosz. Did that hurt Bartosz any? It absolutely hurt him. Now 2 seconds back off of 80 Gamer. That is going to be detrimental for both of those drivers. Oh no. Dżej Dżej getting a little bit loose coming out of that back corner, and that is going to be horrible for his race. His teammate SenTeX half a second off of Mattey, pushing so hard to make anything happen. Half a second gap between SenTeX and the podium. Rolosky in first place, just absolutely cruising with nearly a 3-second gap on Jack. Jack has a 5.5 second gap on Mattey. SenTeX is 6 tenths off of Mattey though for that 3rd place podium. Seems like it's Rolosky's race to lose currently. Lots of things calming down now. You can see about a 1 to 2 second gap between each of the drivers, with a few exceptions here and there depending on what's happening. Currently your closest battle here is SenTeX, who is only 6 tenths off of Mattey, down to 4 tenths with the help of the RS, 3 tenths even, 2.5 tenths as they come into the braking zone. You can see SenTeX brakes just a little earlier. It looks like he's going to try to conserve the momentum going into the second straightaway. Gap now down to 7/10 going through. So it looks like SenTeX may be struggling with his 16-lap-old hard tires to keep things moving. Mattey has about 3-lap fresher tires. Six-tenth gap. You can see SenTeX is just trying to keep up. It might be the dirty air that's keeping him from staying closer through the curves. Seven-tenth gap now for SenTeX, and it looks like TrueHERO and Bartosz are closing up very well going through. Bartosz only 3/10 off of DEBE, and TrueHERO only 4/10 off of him, so it looks like this is going to be a battle between both Aston Martins and the Williams. You can see, looks like TrueHERO right behind him there, and he has DEBE right in his sights. DEBE going down in the middle, going a little defensive coming through. Final corner, Bartosz on the hard tires, DEBE on the mediums. We'll see what they're able to put together here, and it looks like DEBE is trying to harvest energy. Bartosz going to try to get the slipstream. He's going to go around the inside there, and it looks like he's going to be right around. DEBE trying to break a little bit later. He's going to try to do a little bit of a switchback coming through, but it looks like that is not going to work for him. Crazy Boy setting the fastest lap with a 129.1 on a fresh set of soft compound tires. And you can see on your screen DEBE going back past Bartosz. Bartosz trying to do a little bit better of an exit there. Bartosz not able to get that better exit though, and it looks like going into the start of the middle sector, DEBE is going to run away with it, but TrueHERO right behind him, P9, only about 3/10 off. Going through onto this back straight. Are the Aston Martins going to be able to play anything clever? Oh, it looks like Bartosz gets a little bit worse of an exit, but TrueHERO having to lock up the brakes, wasn't prepared for it. TrueHERO has DRS, and so does Bartosz, though, which means that the TrueHERO DRS is basically negated as Bartosz gets the same advantage of speed. 3/10 off going up into the uphill section, and TrueHERO gets a little bit wide. We'll see exactly what he's doing here. He is flat through, and it looks like Bartosz is trying. DEBE's running away, a 1.5-second gap already. You can see Vixie is only half a second back off of TrueHERO now, trying so hard to get through. And he is just watching this battle and waiting, seeing when he can take his advantage. You can see it looks like Bartosz is going to go defensive up the inside. Vix is going to stay right behind him there. TrueHERO is going to be doing the same thing. And it looks like TrueHERO is going to fly past Bartosz with no issues. But Bartosz is going to break a little bit later and try to go up the inside and try to defend it. And it looks like Bartosz is going to be able to hold on to it. And you can see Vixie in the background spinning out. TrueHERO bumps the back of Bartosz just a little bit there. It looks like with 4 laps to go, Vixie's back underway, but with 4 laps to go here, you have some very, very strong battles coming out here for the last of the points-paying places. Jumping on board with SenTeX here. He is only half a second off of Mattey, not able to build that gap up anymore. So we'll see here with 4 laps to go. All it would take from him is just one little mistake from Mattey, even though Mattey has the slightly fresher tires. If Mattey can make one little mistake, that is going to open up SenTeX to get something going. You can see here SenTeX DRS open. Is he going to be able to close it up? He's able to get past Mattey, but is he able to maintain that? Mattey trying to do a little bit of a switchback. Mattey's going to have DRS going into the second straight. He's going to open up the DRS. Can Mattey make anything happen here? Mattey having to peek up the inside, but thinks twice about it. He's not able to go through. And that is going to free up SenTeX to try to see if he can catch Dżej Dżej. 6.5 seconds with 3 laps to go. I don't think he's going to be able to, but he's absolutely going to give it a try. Luo down in P10, half a second off of DEBE. Trying to catch up and go through, and Bartosz only 6/10 off of TrueHERO. They are trying so hard to chase each other down here. Lots of points to go for. Lots of changes here in the Drivers and Constructors Championships to look at. So these drivers know only a few races left this season. They have to push now and make everything happen now. Make it count while they can. Otherwise, it could be too little too late. Still not enough in the bag for Bartosz in pace, or for Mattey in pace there. It looks like these drivers are struggling in the Williams to have any pace. And as I say that, it looks like Bartosz is able to get around TrueHERO. TrueHERO spinning there, going through, and that is going to free up Bartosz. How far is TrueHERO going to fall back? TrueHERO falls back into 11th place. He's finally underway, though. That is going to be so detrimental for their race with only a couple laps to go. Meanwhile, you have Mattey and SenTeX who are absolutely duking it out. And BartheZ starting to get into the mix with about a 2-second gap on SenTeX. As these drivers duke it out, that is going to free BartheZ up to try to close up more and more. Mic cracking because your commentator loves to yell because he gets excited about races. Let's see if we can turn it down a little bit more. All right, mic shouldn't crack anymore, even though I'm going to yell a little bit more about this race. We love technical issues coming through here. It wouldn't be FRL without it. Again, I said it before, I'll say it again. This weekend has been a mess between what happened in real F1 this. And yep, we're going to love it. Let's see, 2 laps to go here. SenTeX dropping down to 7.5 tenths. He's just not able to make up the pace on Mattey to try to get around him. He's going to need some major DRS help in order to make anything happen. And then he just has to get a good run from the second sector. He's not been able to get that good second sector run that he needs. Coming around next to last lap. Let's talk about Rolosky for a second in the race he's ran. Just, there's not much to talk about. He's just been steady, consistent, just gone. There's really nothing to bring up. Steady racing, one-stop strategy. Just, if you want to see consistency in a driver, Rolosky is going to be the one that you want to see. Absolutely glorious. He's just cruising. Unless something major happens here in these last couple laps, it looks like Rolosky has this in the bag. For Jack, up in P2, this is going to be exactly what he needs to try to close that gap back up on Rolosky. He has 2 races to try to get Rolosky out in the Drivers' Championship. It'll be very interesting to see what he's able to do. Looking at gainers and losers of the race here, it looks like both 80 Gamer and Bartosz gaining 10 places. Pefixian losing out 10, of course, with his DNF, which is absolutely bad for both Graxent and Pefixian. NoTa DNFing as well. That will surely cost him his 2nd place in the Drivers' Championship that he earned last race. Looking through, Rolosky is going to bring you around to the final lap here of this Bahrain Grand Prix here in FRL Season 3. This is, of course, round 9, 2 laps to go after this for Rolosky to submit his title of Season 3 champion. Azerbaijan and Abu Dhabi. This is going to be all to play for, though, but it looks like Rolosky is going to have just a couple of more tracks to try to cement everything in, but it'll be interesting to see if Jack can bring it through. We're going to jump back now with SenTeX, who is still only about half a second off of Mattey, not able to close this gap up. DRS open 4 tenths, only able to get it down to 4 tenths through that zone. He has 1 more DRS zone, and a little bit more DRS going down the main straight to try to make anything happen on this final lap. He's closing. Just not close enough. Just not able to get the traction out of corner exits for SenTeX to be able to keep that pace and try to keep anything going. SenTeX can chase the podium, but he can't make it happen. Meanwhile, Rolosky, the championship leader, the king of consistency, the AlphaTauri of your dreams, the driver of the day. Not really, but he is going to bring it down the main straight, and that is going to be another win in Rolosky's book, his third win of the season, and he is going to win Azerbaijan, and he is going to cement his place in the record books here, and he is going to cement his place in for trying to hold on to this Drivers' Championship, proving why he should be the Drivers' Championship. Jack down in P2, putting himself back up against NoTa, jumping NoTa again after NoTa's DNF, showing why he is the main rival of Rolosky to get the win. SenTeX in P4 not able to get past Mattey to try to get on the podium places. Mattey getting his second podium of the season, his second P3. Congratulations, Mattey, on a great race. Well done there in your Williams. Coming through, rounding it out, TrueHERO in 13th place is going to be bringing up the back of the grid as he crosses the finish line for the final time. And that is going to be how we cap off this season. 3 round 9. Technical issues causing some crazy things to happen, some absolute fun times. However, in the end, it is Rolosky, your championship leader, who brings it home and cements his place up in the lead. So after all that, Rolosky bringing it home. Jack in P2, following his way back up into the championship lead. You have Mattey in P3, SenTeX in 4th, P5, 80 Gamer, BartheZ in P6, Crazy Boy in P7, Bartosz P8, Luo in P9, DEBE in P10, Vixie P11, TrueHERO 12th, Dżej Dżej in 13th, Mattey in 14th, 15th, Graxent with a DNF. Mattey on down, DNFing. It's going to be very painful for NoTa, who was second place in the championship. Graxent, very painful for him as well, as that is going to hurt Red Bull in their Constructors' Championship lead. So close. Everything is. This race is going down to the wire. Very, very tight racing and not much more for any of these drivers to give. Very interesting to sit and watch and see how these drivers are going to react to this. We saw some very, very scary racing on the screen. Some tight bumps, some different things happen. So it'll be very, very interesting. Lots of drivers having issues with grip near the end. Lots of crazy things happening. But in the end, your championship leader, Rolosky, proving why he's your championship leader. Absolute great racing coming from him. Congratulations, Rolosky, on a job well done. Jack, congratulations on P2. Mattey, congratulations on your second podium in P3. Great racing. Great, great racing. See if there's anything else useful to note here. Tire strategy. You can see some drivers did 3 stops. Most drivers up in the top opting for soft mediums. Interesting strategy there. Didn't think the mediums would last. But soft hards also seeming to be a good way to go. Overall, very good race. Very, very good race. Good one to watch. It was very interesting. Couple of VSCs, which were fun to see. Not as many safety cars as you would think. Going through. Lots of clean racing from these drivers, but more DNFs than I expected. That's for sure. Meanwhile, that is going to be where we end this race. And where we end this round 9. Next week, it's round 10. It's your penultimate race of the season going through, or it's round 11 next week. Your penultimate race in Azerbaijan will be very interesting to see. Last year, Graxent won Azerbaijan, so it'll be interesting to see if he can keep dominating. Very excited to see what happens there. Constructors Championship, lots of discussions going to happen this week, I'm sure, about this race. Like I've said a couple times, we've seen some choice moments there. Some very interesting things happen, so it'll be interesting to see what the drivers say and how the discussions happen. I would hate to be a steward right now and see where everyone ends up in the hot seat. But that is going to be where we end this stream, guys. I hope you enjoyed this round 9 here of FRL, and I hope you tune in next week for round 10. And we will see you next week. Meanwhile, you have all that happening, and AD Gamer in the house is gonna win the Spanish Grand Prix in your FRL League round 5. Inside of Parabolica. Oh, and that is the Williams and Bartosz going around wide, but he gets past the Red Bull, so it works. Red Bull's going to try to get the Haas. They're going to go 3 wide into turn 1. Wow. Are they still holding it? Nope, they're back 2 wide. Williams is still going to try to push it around the Red Bull. Red Bull's going to shut the door. They're going to keep it going. Graxent holding his place.